Hello. Alright. So I'll start my portfolio with the story of myself. No, So I'll try to explain about my main idea of what I thought when I first came into the studio, which is I like to explore the connection between emotions and spaces, and how they connect together and how they uh yeah. Alright. So first I'll explain the general concept, the general main idea of emotive space. How does emotion affect the space, and space affects emotion, and all that, and explain about emotive architecture and emotive space and the vision of my space. Hello. Okay, so that's the first part. So the first part is basically what I was thinking, the general idea and concept and all that. So next, I'll explain about the emotion mapping, of which is the method of how I measure emotions. So first, there's this general methodology, which um, explains how I measure emotions without any tangible facts or scientific procedures and all that. So, and then I use the Janet Carter's walk as a test, as an experiment for my method, for my emotion mapping thing. So use Janet Carter's walk as a test, which I call as test number one, which is to experiment with my mapping methodology, emotion mapping methodology, and then that's the first part of the emotion mapping. And then the second part is the um, emotion mapping 2.0, which actually explores the usage of the device, and which introduces all the scientific part of the mapping using the device. So in this chapter, I'll explore the device, the procedures, the components of the device, and how does it affect the methodology it gives an advanced kind of in terms of the method and all that. So I'll talk about this chapter, which is actually the start of the part of the exploration study. So it's a little bit um, elaborative, and it's kind of detailed. So okay, back to the second part, which is emotion mapping 2.0. I use the device, and I kind of try to talk about the device and explain about what's the first. It's actually a lie detector. So the evolution of the lie detector until it becomes the more advanced device, such as the GSR, the galvanic skin response. Alright, then that's that. And in the second test, after explaining about the device and how does it work and how okay, blah blah. I use the device in for testing the methodology into human subjects. So I have these three subjects, ABC, subject ABC, and I somehow show these three subjects are actually different kind of people in terms of personality and interest, because different personality and interest gives a different result of the graph, and that's that. And the final drawing and the deduction and the results of test 2. So in this chapter, there's methodology, the general methodology, and then the test 1 using Janet Carter's walk, and test 2, which using the device and into human subjects, subject A, B, and C. So by the end of the chapter, I'll try to relate, and not try, I will, to relate and make relevant of this methodology and mapping towards the project, of how does this mapping contribute to the development of the project, and how does it work in the project. All right, so that's it. So So chapter 1 is intro, chapter 2 is emotive space and emotive architecture, chapter 3 is emotion mapping. So then we go to chapter 4, which is Times Square, the site. Times Square, I call it Times Square and emotional place. So first, introduction to the site, plan, location, history, blah blah blah. And then for the emotional element of the Times Square, I divided Times Square into two main layers, which is the intangible layers and the tangible layers. So for the first layer, the tangible layers of Times Square is actually the billboards, buildings, and the people. These are the layers that actually make Times Square Times Square. So that's the tangible layer of Times Square. So then another layer is the intangible layer is I got this idea from Toby from the last cross quit. He said about exploring another dimension of Times Square, which is what is behind the layer of billboards. What's the alternate dimension, alternate reality of the billboard itself? What's going beyond the billboards? So I'm going to produce a drawing exploring this idea of alternate dimensional, alternate reality of Times Square, which is actually beyond the billboards and all that, and also explore billboards as a facade or a layer of illusion towards the reality. So that creates another layer for Times Square. So we have two main layers, which is intangible and tangible. So that somehow create a very diverse kind of feeling to the site in terms of emotional experience and all the layers. I'm trying to explore more on that. So yeah, and by the end of the chapter, I try to explore the potential project that I can do on the side of what kind of project, what kind of design. Is it a museum or structure? Is it just a structure, or is it a public space or anything? So using this emotional expression of the site and all the concept and all that. So that's chapter 4, and the last chapter is actually a kind of a conclusion of the whole portfolio of stating or elaborating the relevance of the concept, the emotive space, the emotion mapping, the methodology, and the site. It's about showing these three elements contributing to the project objective. Yeah. So for now, that's it. And that's the storyboard you can see from the images below. So yeah, and I'm working hard right now. Alright, Manager and Daniel. See you on Tuesday and watch the trailer. It's good. Bye bye. You say bye bye. Say bye bye. Say bye bye. We're working hard, right?
Yeah,
We're working hard. So don't worry.
Bye.
Bye bye.